wonderful, wonderful Mr. Kiran Kumar. And I would like to say a few things about him. He is a treasure trove of knowledge and creative genius. Kiran Kumar R, fondly called as Kiran, journey as brand consultant and a creative strategist began way in 1990 as an applied artist, graphic designer, and a brand designer. Great sir. His father, his guru, late Sri E. Ranganathan, founder of Graphitech and artist, degree holder from Kalamandir School of Arts, molded Kiran's career in the right direction. His clients are MTR, Mayas, Tenali, Double Horse, Dell, Yardley, Indus Steel, Big Mishra, Peda, etc. Countless places. Great, sir, to have you here on the Speakers Forum. Kiran Kumar, sir, all yours.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Krishna, for introducing me to such a beautiful forum. Thank you, Kushal, and the entire team here, putting me live on this special occasion. Okay, I'll quickly take on to the subject. Before I do that, can I have the slide share thing?
You can do the
Definitely, sir.
slide share, sir.
Yeah. Is my screen visible?
Just a second, sir.
Yeah, my screen is visible. Yeah. Okay. Before I touch base on the subject, one of the very important
So the
aspect
screen
of
is not visible yet.
sorry, my screen is not visible.
Not visible yet, sir. It still says you've started
Okay,
sharing screen.
start sharing fresh.
Yes, now it's visible, sir.
It's visible. Yeah, visible now.
Yes, sir. Please go
Yeah,
ahead.
thank you. One of the very important aspect of marketing is branding. Branding is an slightly or neglected subject when it comes to marketing or the perspective of sales. What happens is an organization would set up a fabulous infrastructure, bring in good manpower, set up the entire team, but the marketing takes a role later. But when we look at marketing as a subject, that's not the case where we need to look at it. It should be at a very early stage. So let's see and learn how marketing can help uh, us to take our business to next level. Having a little hitch in the slide. Oh, okay. Thanks. Good. Okay. What is a brand? Everybody understands brand. Brand is a word which generally takes us closer to a product or a service. Let's see how this. So, can we live without brands? It's a very important aspect we need to understand today. Can we live without brands? Uh, Possibly the answer would be no, because we are so much attached to this word and the products that we can't live without them. So let us understand what is branding. Branding is a word where your relationship with the product and service brings in more attachment. What is this attachment? The attachment is an either it is an emotional association with the consumer, or it is a value proposition of the product, or it is the user experience of the product. This is what is called branding. Okay, I repeat, branding is a emotional association, it is a value proposition, and it is a contract between the user and the product experience. So this is what is branding. So branding is also a name, term, symbol, or a design. When the value proposition or the emotion is attached to a brand, it forms an image. This image can be either a name, term, sign, or a symbol or a design. Why do we need branding? It's very important. In a traditional market scenario, the number of competitors were less, and there were small companies that used marketing strategy to capture a large market share. The size of the company and the power of the player was very important to increase the market share. But this this resulted in less number of competition, and the companies we have all have gone through a age where we have seen where the one scooter brand we had a few decades ago, and it was one car brand and one footwear brand and one telecom operator. Now you can imagine that this has this is now more than 100 times the competition what these brands have also undergone, and the brand like Ambassador car have also perished in the this thing. Now you see BSNL is getting also privatized. So this is the kind of scenario pre-existed where branding was not that given much importance. So the so the reason to build brand started once there was a competition, once there was an this competition became intense. The established companies share started diminishing. The the this company started branding and advertising to increase their to hold on to their market share or to increase the market share which they were holding. So that's how branding began. Brands are built basically with many qualities. The qualities that people will value, qualities which can increase the acceptability and appeal of the brand. When it comes to brand are very basically an emotional comment, emotional connect. Now Raymond chose a tagline called "A Complete Man," and it very though they were selling the fabric, they very neatly emoted the the quality of a gentleman, which was reflected in their ads and in their promotion. That's how Raymond started connecting the people with the fabric with the people. And most brands are built based on the emotion. The other qualitative measures of a brand is emotion, taste, ergonomics, aesthetics, identity, core technology, and quality. The long-term benefits of a brand are comfort, performance, interaction, satisfaction. These are the forces, these are the elements which build the brand loyalty of any particular product or a service. MTR uses pure and perfect with their quote of tradition, and Amul, we all know the taste of India, their campaign, which is so vibrant and so connected, saying that the talk of an Indian brand and Indian connectivity. So, is branding necessary? Yes, to position the product or service in a highly competitive market. We all know the war between Coke and Pepsi. We all know how important is branding with these brands. We all have children grown up with this brand and seeing the kind of war they have created. Though the product tastes same, the product packaging looks similar, and it is almost same. Only it change. If you are attached to a Coke, you love Coke. If you are attached to a Pepsi, you would love Pepsi. But the product distinction is very less, but still our attachment is what we argue about the brand. Branding is necessary to make consumer respect and add emotion and trust to create relationship with product or service. This is a very important aspect. If consumer need to respect and trust the brand, Uh, we need to build this in a very sensitive way and um, see that how we address the emotion part which the consumer connect with the product. It also branding would also helps to strengthen the differentiation and sustain competitive advantage and retention of customers. What does this mean? See, when you have a product which are very similar with less difference, the differentiation becomes your USP, or the whatever the minimal difference you have uh, has to be strengthened to increase the competitive advantage, to ensure that the consumer doesn't drift away. And a very important aspect of a brand is to have a unique identity and integrate all mediums of promotion. What does this mean? A unique identity is always essential part of the branding, where consumer recognizes it, sees, and collect with the color, shape, and form, or even a typography. So this is what I mean to say when I say a unique identity. Here, Coke always resonates with the color red, and we also are connected with the font of that Coke, which is a flowing, handwritten classical font, which makes us extremely connected with the Coke. So this is a very important way to know that an identity determines the brand, and the brand is determined by the identity. Let's understand the process of branding. The process of branding is to create an identity of brand. This testifies the time. When we begin the branding process, we need to assess the market opportunity and see it uh, in a very futuristic manner. Brand also can create a compelling customer need. Uh, Also, creating a brand which can consistently reach, the, has a marketing reach is very important. Tracking the performance and value of the brand. What does this mean? See, when you do a branding, you need to track the performance and keep analyzing the value of the brand and ensure that you enhance the brand image. Creating an identity of the brand is a very important process of branding. So define the brand experience, develop the trademark look and feel, choose the trademark architecture, and ensure there are legal protection. Generally, the trademark thing is generally neglected, or we choose generic name which conflict with some established brands. And hence, today in the scenario where almost 250 brand names are registered on a day-to-day basis, it is very important for us to ensure that we have an excellent trademark architecture and protect it legally. So, how do you create a name? A name is created with a distinctiveness, brevity, appropriateness, easy to spell, likability, extendability, and protectability. What does this mean? This means that the name has to be very easy to pronounce. Pronounce is a very important. I think today in a scenario where you can't very easily uh, uh, get a meaningful name, even if it sounds good as right. What I would recommend is a 6 character uh, or a 5 character name, which can be very easily uh, remembered and recalled. Is a great as a great name. So a great name deserves great graphics to test the measure of creative idea before it reaches the creative. What does this great graphics means is choosing an excellent typography and adding graphics to it and making the uh, look and feel very distinct, relevant, memorability and extendability and depth of meaning. What is memorability is to recall value. Extendability, can you multiply the brand? Can it have the test of time? Can it hold on for long? Depth of meaning would definitely add value if you can create out of the name. So there are five basic principles of brand design: simplicity, appropriateness, timelessness, versatile, memorable. The design has to be simple for easy recognition. A good brand feature is something which is exclusive but not overdone. It can be unique still. Design should represent the purpose it stands for. If you design a brand, it should hold on for at least 10 to 50 years or more. The, any versatile design should be adaptable to any medium and should be a scalable vector. Design should have a huge recall value. So this is what is called a memorable. So developing a brand identity with a futuristic perception is very important. I've taken this example of Airtel because it has a very, compared to the current identity, it has a very simple readable font, and it distinguishes telecommunication and the letter Air, and the color is very vibrant, very strong colors. This kind of identity, though I don't know still why this brand identity was still changed by Airtel. So if you see, most of these brands have uh, revived themselves and renovated themselves. Here you see how a old logo of MTR was revamped, because when it was designed earlier, maybe the vision was not rightly set in a motion. So this is the story of Kisan, where the old identity, when Hindustan Lever took over from UB Group, this how they had to bring back to their old identity back again. So color is also very important aspect of a brand. Some brand we connect with the color rather than the name. So how much time do I have?
Sir, you have time. You can go ahead.
Time. Okay. Okay. So one of the biggest brand, most versatile and a very big brand which I could recall is Tata. Tata, if you have seen, for last 125 years have not changed their identity. The TATA has remained in our memories, or for generations together now. I don't know which designer coined it or designed it ages ago. It has been a very simple and a very neat identity, which has stood test of time, and which on any medium, or on any business vertical, it has suited their purpose of branding and marketing. So one of the most loved branding which I am connected with. So I possibly come to the evolution of brand. All brands have evolved, and in terms of their identity, in terms of their business growth, and to suit their marketing aspect. If at all you wanted to buy a Canon camera, uh, we wouldn't have brought the camera which would have had an identity, anything like this. So their identity has remained constant since last 30 years. One of the major brands of technology, IBM, this saw IBM evolved its branding from a letter and an intricate design to a simpler and a more communicative design, more modern, but still this identity has been there since last 20 years. Microsoft has evolved many times. Even this identity is what I've shared here is still hold. 2018, they still revamped their identity with bringing four windows into the place. So Nokia, as Ms. Chandranam mentioned about the cable company, maybe started off with a fish. I think nobody would have bought a phone if it had an icon like this, which a fish as an icon, and to which never communicates the what this brand stood for currently. So Xerox is the one of the brands, one of the biggest brands which has morphed itself into many many forms, multiple forms, and it has been rebranded multiple times. So this is where I come. Imagine the imagine if you had a brand called Corona, and how much of mileage we would have had today, and how our business or our how our marketing would have grown today if somebody had brand. But recently, I discovered one of the pharma companies have formed. Let's look at it. They have taken entire advantage. They have formed a company called Corona Pharmaceuticals, and they still do zinc and or how do I put it, D3, vitamin C as their one of their products in selling. So this is how people generally use the situation and circumstances to leverage on this their branding. So this is a couple of our clients whom we work with. So soul never thinks without a picture. A picture is so very important even for our soul. So I leave this quote with of this Aristotle. So these are my credential. This is my number. You can mail me at kiran@graphitech.in or visit my website called graphitech.in. My LinkedIn profile is Kiran Kumar Ranganathan at 57202317. I thank everybody for their patience listening, even at this hour. As I told you, when I begin, branding takes the last seat. Even here, branding has taken almost the last seat in our presentation. And I thank the entire team here, Kushal Jain, and everybody here for their patient hearing, and have a wonderful time ahead. Thank you. Thank you so much. Shall I stop share?
Yes, sir. Please go ahead. Thank you so much, Kiran Kumar sir. Fantastic session and a couple of observations. Xerox, as you said, people generally when they go to the shop, they don't
Call
say, "Can I have
photocopy.
a?" Yeah, they don't ask for
Call
a photocopy.
photocopy.
They say, "Can we have a
Xerox.
Xerox?"
That's the
So
kind of
that's
branding
the,
that we do.
yeah, very strong branding.
Branding.
And I'm also reminded of a scene from the movie KGF where Raymond's has that along with the tagline has since 1925. So
Correct.
the protagonist learns about why that year is mentioned. So brands are having that the starting year. That's a thing distinguishing a brand to a just a name. So the protagonist also believes in since 1989, for instance, is the date of birth, and he's a brand. So he starts believing that he's a brand. And I strongly believe that powerful brands have a powerful identities and brand recall. And the
Yes.
Corona example that you mentioned, I did notice a couple of tuition centers which have started naming themselves as Corona. A lot of marketing that happens in a free way. So a
Yeah,
lot of branding.
obviously. No, recall value is faster.
Definitely, sir.
We
Lovely.
have had Cargill as also a brand. Many of
Yes,
us
yes,
would have
correct.
reminded that this war to go was
True.
going on.
Yes, yes,
So that's how the when situation demands, no, it's an easy way to build the branding rather than taking that the entire route of what I explained.
correct, correct. Very true, sir.
Yeah,
Situational. It has to be
situational.
spontaneous, and if you're
Yeah,
able to, although the
opportunistic
although the
approach.
spelling might not be same. For instance, the Cargill that
Obviously,
you're mentioning is Cargill.
yeah.
But since it sounds the same, still the branding continues. So thank you so much, sir. A very strong branding message. A lot of
Thank you.
insight on the colors, the logo, and I think a lot of takeaways for all the viewers and
Thank you.
listeners. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Ina ma'am, did you want to add anything?
You have already added so many things. I would just like to say, I think our audience, I'm sure they must have enjoyed like anything. Branding is something which we are closely associated with right from the childhood. We have been hearing all these words, like rightly said, Xerox, and now In the COVID times, a lot of medicines are coming up with that name. Yes, we do associate with those things. Absolutely. Brilliant, brilliant session and lots of learning from Kiran Kumar sir. And now again, I would like to invite, in fact, rather, I would like to invite
Ina
you,
madam,
Krishna Arjun.
Madam,
Yes, sir.
a small information. If Kiran Kumar sir should tell that, if I'm not wrong, the Amplify brand is
Yeah, it's
suggested by
created by
you.
me. Yeah.
Thank
Oh,
you.
Both Kushal
wow.
Jain brand and Amplify is created by me. In fact, I and Kushal are very closely associated for last 10 years, and I have been building all Kushal's brand in the background, and we both help each other in connecting with our business
Lovely,
associate.
sir. Sir, can you just tell us why you chose Amplify?
So Amplify was one is it increases the value or it brings in strength. And if you see there's an arc there, it shows like an amplifier.
Mhm.
So that's the arc. It's not a simple arc, it's a green arc, I think. We chose a subtle font style, not a very heavy font style, because this was more on a transformation side, where he wanted to keep it a little more an elite profile of team which used to bring. So that's what the font is also very unique. You don't find that font very easily across the other product, and very readable and simple. And I chose a lower case because A was very beautiful there, and capital A is generally overused as a triangle. So that was the reasons why we chose this brand in this way. Hope it
Lovely, sir.
grows larger than life and gives Kushal the required marketing edge with this simple identity which was created. Thank you.
So most of the larger than life characters or logos are actually simple. So I
Yeah, no,
think,
yeah,
yeah,
they
yeah,
are very humble. In
yes,
fact,
yes,
have a
very
very
true.
humble
Yeah,
outlook.
true,
Branding is not about overdoing and
true.
creating that extra impact. It's not always using the heavy font. Any font well communicated can create a brand value for you.
Lovely. There you go, folks. You now know the justification behind the branding that is amplified. Thank you so much, Kiran Kumar
Thank you.
sir.
Thank you.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's look at our next speaker.